Impact segment tonight, one of Donald Trump's main themes on the road is that the media is corrupt, heavily favoring Hillary Clinton.
Another important issue for Americans is integrity in journalism. These people are among the most dishonest people I've ever met, spoken to, done business with. These are the most dishonest people.
And a new poll from USA Today backs Trump up to some extent. The question, who do you think the media would like to see elected president? Hillary Clinton, 75%. Donald Trump, 8%. Don't know, 11%. Joining us now from Indianapolis, Jeff McCall teaches communications at DePaul University. Here in New York City, Merrill Brown, director of Montclair State University School of Communication. You surprised by that poll? That's a huge 75 to 8.
Well, first of all, that's what people think. And the phrase liberal media is in everybody's vernacular these days. So I'm not surprised in the slightest. We know from past surveys that media vote liberal by and large. It's not at the 100% level. No surprise at all.
But I'm surprised at the gap, 75 to 8, because if you ask the liberal pundits, they go, oh, no, no, no. You know, look, if you went to the New York Times newsroom tonight, Professor, and you said, do you guys favor Hillary Clinton? Oh, no, no, no. You know they'd say that.
Of course they would say that, as they have to. But private surveys that have been done in the past say that reporters generally covering national campaigns lean Democratic and lean liberal. But the problem with the whole premise is we like to believe they're doing their job. You have a political point of view. You don't tell everybody who you're going to vote for. You do your job as best you can because you're a serious-minded journalist. I'd say that about most of the media as well.
Okay. Would you say that about most of the media, Professor McCall? Because the American people think the fix is in, as Trump might say.
Yeah, the media, you know, the reporters are a reflection of the environments in which they live. And they live in newsrooms where most of their colleagues lean left, and they went to colleges and J schools where most of their professors leaned left. I find these poll results fascinating. By the way, it's worth pointing out that the USA Today poll you're talking about is supported by other polling that came out from Quinnipiac and from the Associated Press recently. So there's a consistency here in those poll results. And one thing that I find really fascinating about these poll results is that clearly a number of Hillary Clinton supporters agree that the media is tilting against Trump.
Okay. Do you, based on your experience with alumni who have gone through DePaul's communication system and now work in the industry, do you believe that if you are a reporter and you are favoring Trump, say you in a conversation with someone and, you know, I really don't like Hillary Clinton, I might give Trump a go this time around. Do you believe that that would be held against you in some newsrooms in America?
I would dare say that most right-leaning reporters in a newsroom probably wouldn't want to acknowledge that very much.
Because they fear reprisal in their job?
They would feel that they don't fit into the culture there. But one thing I think that's really important for us to keep in mind here is that fairness is a skill and that it can be taught. And one thing I talk about in my own classes is that however you feel particularly about a candidate or an issue or whatever
you can be fair.
You have,
absolutely.
you can
I try to be fair to Hillary
and
Clinton.
Provide balance.
Yeah, I don't take cheap shots at her. I take her words and I analyze them. Do you feel, based on your Montclair University experience, that people working in the media are afraid almost to give balance because if they're perceived as being conservative or for Trump, they'll get hurt there. They'll get hurt in their job.
I don't think that's the case at all. The leading reporter covering Donald Trump these days is a guy named Robert Costa at the Washington Post. Washington Post thought by some people in this institution and others to be liberal. His background is in the right-leaning press. He's well respected in that world. He covers Trump. People, his point of view is known. People acknowledge that. It's absolutely fine in the world we live in.
What about the editor of the New York Times, Paquette, saying that at this point, fairness doesn't really matter because Trump's dangerous?
Well, fairness always matters. I don't know that he exactly
I mean, but
said
that's a signal, isn't that? Not a signal.
It is a signal. And he had a particular critique about cable television, and I, to a certain extent, share that critique. Which is that cable television, in letting Donald Trump get an enormous amount of airtime in the period of the primaries, basically assured his visibility and gave him the nomination.
But the other candidates could have done the same thing. They didn't want to.
He's an effective user of the television platform, no question about it.
Let me just, and I want you to comment on this, Professor McCall. I am the reigning largest audience getter in cable news. I can tell you, we wanted Kasich. We wanted Rubio. We wanted Jeb Bush. They wouldn't come on. Trump he was in the hallway. I mean, he wanted to come on. He was smart. He took advantage. I would have put Hillary Clinton on every hour on the hour, but she doesn't want to do it. So I don't think you can blame Trump for taking what was offered to him.
Not blaming Trump.
Right.
I'm saying the balance in...
But there was no balance because they wouldn't show up.
No, but there were rallies throughout campaign season, especially in the primary season, and his, because they were colorful and dramatic and drew audiences.
That
got
might be a
lots of
legitimate
attention.
point. But personal appearances, the others did not take us up. Last word, Professor McCall.
Well, I think the interesting thing about these surveys is that it shows that the public has enough gumption to sense the imbalance. And research from the Media Research Center proves that they're right.
Oh, yeah.
They came out with a study recently that showed that there are 9 negative Trump stories in network television for every 1 that is positive, and there are 2 negative stories about Trump for every 1 about Hillary Clinton. Now, I'm all in favor of giving both candidates real scrutiny and a rough ride, but I think there needs to be balance there, and there's plenty of stuff to cover about Hillary Clinton that's probably being glossed over.
The stuff about Trump is more sensational, and always television will go to that. Gentlemen, good debate. Thank you.